Okay, let's get into this deep dive. It takes us into a really charged discussion, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Leadership, accountability, and the whole tangle of political talk in Nigeria.
Definitely charge.
So today, we're looking at this one quite powerful source. It's titled Excerpts from Peter Obi's Past, A Reckoning of Responsibility.
Right.
And look, our job here isn't to say if these claims are true or false. It's more about pulling out the main arguments, seeing how these historical claims get pulled into today's politics.
Yeah, the mechanics of it.
Exactly. And why these stories are built the way they are. That's where it gets, well, I think it gets really interesting. Understanding the strategy behind the words. So this source, I mean, it makes a really pointed critique, right?
Yeah.
Jumps straight into some heavy allegations.
Very heavy.
It claims that when Peter Obi was governor of Anambra, hundreds of young men were extrajudicially killed by his security network.
And it names names.
It does. Specifically, James Nwafor, head of that SARS Awkuzu unit, which, had a notorious reputation already for abuses, for killings.
A very dark reputation, yes.
And the document says their bodies were, allegedly dumped in the Ezu River for crocodiles.
Wow.
Yeah. And it even claims a press photographer got pictures, gruesome ones, before they could be made to disappear.
And looking at that, from the source's angle, what's really insightful is how it uses those details. The Ezu River, the photos, it's so vivid, almost horrifying.
Right.
It's not just making a claim, it's like crafting this really memorable story. It's designed to hit you emotionally right away, Sets a really direct tone for its argument about accountability.
Yeah, bypasses.
It kind of bypasses a purely rational debate, maybe, to build this powerful narrative, even if it's, unverified, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. And building on that, the source doesn't just stay in the past. It then swings around sharply to connect it directly to Peter Obi's current political statements.
Yep.
It argues he didn't visit, even one parent of these young men, and that he traveled out of Nigeria after these Awkuzu killings came out.
So linking past alleged inaction to present words.
Precisely. And then it contrasts that with his current criticism of President Tinubu over the Benue killings, where Obi accused Tinubu of lacking competence, capacity, character, and compassion.
Right, I remember that quote.
But this is presented, the source points out, even though the Benue governor himself, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, apparently said the federal government under Tinubu has been, quote, extremely responsive.
Oh, interesting contrast. Saying the response reduced the crisis from 16 to 3 local governments.
That's what the governor reportedly stated, yeah.
So that's a really critical juxtaposition the source is making there.
Definitely.
And if you follow that thread, connect it to the bigger picture. The document really ramps up the criticism. It draws a direct comparison, almost portraying Peter Obi as, similar to the perpetrators of these Benue killings.
That's strong.
Very strong. Saying they're bent on ethnic and religious war. And it even brings up that leaked Yes Daddy audio, that recording that caused such a stir.
Ah, yes. Highly controversial.
Hugely. Where Peter Obi supposedly threatened a similar conflict against the Muslim Ummah. The document claims flat out that more people died under Awkuzu SARS with Obi as governor than in the current Benue crisis.
So the accusation is?
The accusation is he's politicizing the Benue killings. And then it uses that Yoruba insult, Agbotikuyo, one who rejoices at the death of others. I mean, it's clearly aimed right at his character, trying to discredit him emotionally.
Wow, okay. So this all raises a pretty important question for us and for you listening. When political figures are critiquing others and then their own past actions are brought up like this so sharply by a source like this one, have we as listeners sort of evaluate these calls for accountability?
Yeah, how do you weigh that?
What's the, this strategic goal behind framing it so aggressively? And how well do these kinds of historical claims actually land with people, especially when they're presented with such vivid detail?
It's definitely a high-stakes play by the source. I mean, the boldness of the claims and connecting them to current events like that, it feels like a very deliberate shot at undermining his legitimacy. Paints a picture of hypocrisy.
Right.
It really shows the power of narrative, doesn't it? How stories can shape how people see things, sometimes, regardless of the hard facts or verification.
It certainly does. So here's a provocative thought for you to maybe mull over. In this whole whirlwind of political debate, when past events get dug up and used like ammunition, how do you tell the difference between what might be genuine concern about accountability and what could just be strategic political moves.